Hey fellas, Admin here. Welcome to the Admin Other, a channel where I feel like going into the weeds on things, and today we are going into the weeds on the Surefire X300 Turbo. Now, I was excited to see the Turbo come out. I will also acknowledge that I am very late to the game when it comes to making a video on this, such is life, but we will still do it because it lives rent-free in my head, and sometimes I just want to make YouTube videos to get those ideas out into the world. I have the Surefire X300 Turbo on the Glock 17, the just normal Surefire Ultra, the X300, and then we have the Modlite PL350 head on the Modlite PL350 body on a Glock 19. So you saw in the shooting montage, we did a little shooting and scooting. It was pretty fun, but I noticed some things about it, and I've noticed them over the time of having them, some things I like and some things I don't like. In this video, we're gonna go over that real quick. Now, the TLDR, Surefire Turbo good. I like Surefire Turbo. If you don't wanna watch the rest of the video, Surefire Turbo goes hard. I like it for what it is. It is solid. Now, with that TLDR out of the way, I'm going to dive into the weeds. I'm going to get all nitty gritty in those details, at least all the stuff that I think about and care about. So let's do that. Of course, I'm gonna show you real quick the different beams, what they look like. So here we have the Modlite PL350, pretty good throw. And it's picking up a lot of the guys on the left and the far, but it just really illuminates rather nicely. Very good candela. All right, now here we have the Ultra, Surefire X300 Ultra, very high lumen, but the candela is not too hot compared to the others. And then we have the Turbo. Turbo, nice tight beam, not as high of the lumen where you get the outer rings, I would say. It's a very bad science terms, but the throw is very impressive. So let's compare the two. Whoa, whoa. It's like a light show. So on the right, I have the PL350. On the left, I have the Turbo. The PL350 looks slightly warmer. The Turbo looks a little bit colder. That stuff doesn't matter to me. I only care about light performance. So that's where I stand in my head. So now we're completely blacked out. You can't see anything. This is the Surefire Turbo. Kind of see what it looks like. Modlite. And then the Turbo. All right, so if you're wondering, hey dude, why should I take your input on a pistol weapon light? You are just some rando on the internet. And you are exactly right. Do your own research, do your own studies. I am just a dude on the internet giving you a opinion that I have. I have some time in law enforcement experience. It was only 2 years, but I spent most of that time on the graveyard shift where I used a pistol weapon light extensively. I have a lot of time behind them. I did a lot of quals with them, a lot of shooting with them, a lot of time at night using a pistol weapon light. This was the primary one I used. You can see all that carbon buildup on the light itself, and this is gonna be the Surefire X300 Ultra. I like this weapon light a lot. I enjoyed using it, and I thought it was awesome. Now, at the time when I was in law enforcement, this was about 2 years ago now, I remember seeing the Modlite PL350 body coming out and hearing the rumors about it. As someone that used a pistol weapon light extensively as part of my job, I was very excited because at the time Modlite, and I think Modlite still is, doing really cool stuff, so I was really excited to get my hands on it. I never got to use it on the road. As much of a bummer that is, it's like whatever, you can still go to the flat range and shoot with it where you'll get plenty of time behind it. The Surefire Turbo comes out, and the Surefire Turbo is essentially the answer to the Modlite pistol, I would say. Surefire, of course, having an excellent legacy of weapon light, you know, a history of weapon lightness. So all that context aside, why the video? Well, as a gun guy, I love pistol weapon lights, and I think they are integral to a duty handgun based off our job. Just because you work during daytime doesn't mean you're not gonna go into a dark structure. I think that still applies to civilians. I think of all the pistol shooters, technically cops should be the best, then of course also civilians, and then military. Military has to worry about bigger guns, but this is all getting down a rabbit hole that you did not sign up for. Pros and cons. All right, so pros about the Surefire Turbo. It's a Surefire X300 body. It is tried and true. It's going to fit all of your Surefire X300 stuff. You don't have to worry about the logistical changing out of a holster. That's a no-brainer off the rip. Now, cool thing about the Modlite PL350 is that it also fits into duty holsters like a safari lamp. Modlite, as much as I love the product, their company typically has drama every once in a while. I'm not going to go over the historical drama of Modlite. Now, what do they do right? So I love the look of the Modlite PL350, and I love the aesthetics of the light. I think on a lot of handguns, it completes a look. It looks sexy, it looks clean, it looks aggressive. And I like that. I like the feeling of having a high quality product that you can rely on with your life. Now, there are some things, of course, that I don't like about it. And one big thing is going to be the tabs. This is the biggest drawback, and I think Modlite knows this. I think the tabs aren't terrible. I wish they had the push function that the Surefire X300 has, and if you're totally unfamiliar, what that is that on the Surefire X300, and the Turbo has this too, you can push just on these tabs. You don't have to tab them down or up. So you can tab them down or up, or you can push them directly in. The PL350 does not have that. It's only a tab up or down. Now the problem with these tabs is that they're very light to maneuver, which can be good or bad depending on how you look at it. To me, it's bad because when I maneuver it with my thumb down and I'm shooting, and I want to turn the light off to reload because I don't want to give away where I'm at, if I have that tab down and I want to not give away where I'm at and I tab it up, I may throttle control it over, especially if you're having an adrenaline dump where it's not going to lock into place on the off position. So I really don't like that. And it's not like a Surefire where the tabs up or down are way tighter. They just have like this more resistance, so you can kind of like tell a lot easier, I'd say, when you're tabbing. That's something I don't like. That's the biggest drawback to me about this. There's also the other factors that ruggedness isn't up to par compared to a Surefire X300. A lot of guys out on the interwebs were saying that they had issues with their PL350 body. I snagged one because one, I'm a big fan of Modlite. I also loved the idea of having essentially like a rifle light for a pistol. And the PLH V2 head pretty much is that. You can also throw your OKW head on here. I feel like the PLH V2 head is really good for a pistol light. Their output and the performance is phenomenal. Now, another thing is going to be the batteries. These are rechargeable batteries, so some guys like it, some guys don't. It's kind of up to you. I'm more of a CR123 guy. I like CR123s. Oh, also, sorry. I love the fact that you can change out the batteries from the front, so you don't have to take the weapon light off itself. The gun's clear, don't worry, and you can just swap out the batteries from the front. I like that a lot. Really easy and intuitive. I like that. I dig that and I appreciate that. PLH V2 head. You can also swap this out with an IR head. I've done that before and I've ran this on a primary weapon light, talking about the Modlite body. The Modlite IR heads are ridiculously powerful. Now, Turbo. So Turbo is solid. I like the Turbo a lot. It is a tried and true body. It is rugged, it is reliable, and it may not have as good of an output as, say, a Modlite head, but it's still pretty damn good for what it is. I was watching a lot of other guys' videos on this. Lucas, for example, he was throwing out his Turbo head to 150 yards and he was IDing a target. That's pretty impressive with this head, and I will say that I like that a lot. If you're like me and you like running force on force, higher output of candela to defeat other weapon lights is really nice. If you go to an airsoft game or an airsoft arena and you're doing low light and you have a high performing weapon light such as these, and you essentially turn the corner and you can beam down there, that they're like $40 Chinese knockoff lights, don't stand a chance, and it's fantastic and it's really funny. It's also life-saving potentially because you may need to be punching through other people's lights, headlights, flashlight, and it's all important stuff and it all kind of gets into the weeds, but thankfully this is the second channel so I can get into the weeds. So of course I did want to make a video about this. Now you're getting and asking, hey, why? There's already plenty of content on this. It's mainly for myself. Maybe you can glean something important from it, but if I don't get these ideas out of my head into the zeitgeist, then I may potentially spontaneously combust. So there is that. So ultimately, guys, I think the Turbo wins out overall as a duty pistol light. If I was gonna hit the road back on patrol again, I'd have the Turbo over the PLH V2 head. I love the PLH V2 head. I think it performs greatly, but I think as a overall duty handgun light, it still needs some upgrades. I think if it had the push to tab a little bit more stiffer, we all want to be a little bit more stiffer, right? If it was a bit more stiffer on the tabs, I think it would be a little bit more acceptable, and of course, fixing some of the rugged reliability issues. I think it looks cooler. I think aesthetically is more pleasing, but I mean, at the end of the day, you need rugged reliability. So I think this thing is pretty freaking awesome. I'm impressed. And I think we are also spoiled by handgun tech with, red dots and lights. It's cool to see that technology advancing. So we are living in the future. My brother in Christ, we are living in the modern age, and it is fantastic. Gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know which light you'd prefer, and let me know which other knick-knack thing I should review next for this fantastic second channel, a channel that holds near and dear to my heart. Patreon, if you want to support the Patreon, excellent way to support the channel. It really helps out greatly. Gentlemen, as always, stay easy, stay breezy. I'll see you in the next video.